Hello and welcome to our sessions of the Brahma Kumaris in Miami. Sessions to empower us and to uplift us and to help us see life from a different perspective, from a more spiritual perspective, and to help us cope with life situations with more wisdom, with more ease, and with more equanimity and clarity. So let us start with a moment of silence. As I breathe deeply, I embrace this moment. I'm grateful to have the time to be with myself, to disconnect from all the external situations, and to pause for a moment and to reflect about my life, about what I want for my life, and how I want to use this time to empower myself to grow spiritually, to get to know myself as the spiritual being that I am better. Just to reflect about my life. I know these are challenging times that we're living in, but still, I can choose to learn from it, to grow from it, and to get to know myself better as the spiritual being that I am. Om Shanti. Maybe, probably, some of you know what Om Shanti means already. But Om Shanti is a beautiful greeting that we use in the Brahma Kumaris. Om means I am a soul, a spiritual being, an eternal being of light. And Shanti means peace. And as I was listening to one of our senior sisters, Sister Denise, she was saying that we use that greeting to ground ourselves, to remind ourselves of who we are and who I belong to. So like our Daddy Janki, who was the president of the Brahma Kumaris for many, many years, an amazing soul. She used to say Om Shanti 3 times when starting any talk or any gathering. And so again, to remind ourselves of who we are as a spiritual being that we are, that I am, that you are, and who do we belong to? There's a higher being, the Supreme Soul, as we call him in the Brahma Kumaris, God, who is, what is the name given to this being by mostly everybody? Is a higher, is a spirit, is a Supreme Soul, sorry. And so when Daddy was saying the 3 Om Shantis, the second Om Shanti, she always was saying, just remember who I belong to. So in these times of difficulty, challenging times that we're living in, it's very, very important to keep ourselves centered, to keep ourselves grounded, to take care of ourselves, not just externally, by following all the advice given by the medical professions, by following all the advice given by the government, but also to take care of our inner self, our inner world. And so the more I learn to remind myself, to connect myself with my inner world, and start learning to know who I am, start getting to know myself, starting with asking myself, what are my qualities? What are my specialities that I am so happy with, that gives me strength, that makes me feel happy and good whenever I behave according to my qualities and specialities that are very natural and strong in me. So the more I take time just to get to know myself, and this is a very precious time that we're given by the advice of the government and the medical professions of staying home in order to help stop this virus situation in the world. So we're having a lot more time in our hands to learn about ourselves, to get to know ourselves, to take care of ourselves. And so the more I just ask myself, what are those qualities? What are those virtues that are within me that are very natural, that I feel very good when I practice them, when I use them? And that I want to take advantage of life situations more and more to use them as much as possible. And so it's a way to get to know those qualities and those specialities within me, and to see them as a gift from God for me, a way that God, the Supreme Soul, serves the world through my qualities. And so I will recognize them, I will appreciate them without any ego, but with humility and gratitude. And I will feel more encouraged to just use them in every opportunity I can, at every moment. And then at the same time, these times that we're living gives us the opportunity to check the self and to see the self and to evaluate ourselves in a way, to see what are those personality traits that I have, that I would like to change, that I would like to transform, that I will make no excuses but work on transforming them with determination, with honesty. And so I can use this time to mindfully live my day practicing what I want to strengthen and being very determined, very aware of those habits that I want to change. And for that, silence is very necessary to get to know ourselves. Silence to go within and to get to know my inner world. It's very easy by these physical eyes. It's very easy to be distracted by the externals, and it's very easy to know and to see whatever is outside. And that has been like a norm of my way of living and humanity's way of living in general. Just being aware and being distracted by all the externals. And it has become like a distraction for us to just learn about our true self, our inner world. But the more I understand that there's more to my life than the roles that I play, than this body, than the relationships, possessions, etc., all these external things that are very temporary if we honestly look at life, then we start realizing that there's more to life than all these external things that are so temporary. And so is with silence, with introversion, with meditation, with reflection, contemplation, is that we start getting to know who we are. And so the more I take time to reflect on it, as I'm cooking, as I'm cleaning the house, as I'm doing any chores, most of the time we have to be indoors nowadays. I've been staying indoors in the house for quite a few days already. And so again, it's a very precious time to use in a worthwhile way, in a meaningful way, not just cleaning the house or cooking or doing any type of chores in a mechanical way. But while I'm doing all these things, whatever it is that I'm doing, I can be connected. I, the soul, can be connected to the Supreme Soul. And by doing that, I will be giving a lot of meaning to it. I will be putting such beautiful energy into whatever I'm doing. And all this energy, all this beautiful energy of this elevated consciousness, elevated way of thinking, meaningful way of thinking. All this energy is not just staying where I live, but it's just going all around the world. And so, in these times that we're living, I was talking to somebody today, and she was telling me that she feels very inspired to be able to help more, but in a physical way. And we were talking that again is so limited, that is more limited. But one beautiful way of helping the world in these times of need and in these times where there's so much sorrow, one beautiful way of helping our world, from our world family, humanity, is by doing this conscious, mindful type of thinking, where we are as much as possible, as much as we can, as much as we want to, reflecting on all the qualities that I have and all the qualities I want to strengthen, and on all the qualities I want to put into practice more. I want to invite more. I want to use more. And if I'm lacking a lot of these qualities that I would like to have, then I will start visualizing myself or seeing myself or practicing it, taking opportunities to practicing them. One for me, one is patience, being more patient. And so I could just start taking opportunities to be more patient. And in this way, by doing this mindfully, consciously, then I will be strengthening that quality in me. So it will start becoming a quality in me more and more. And so a way for me to think that I would like to help the world, our world, and myself at the same time, remain more peaceful, remain more with more equanimity, remain with more clarity, with more wisdom during these times, is for me to remind myself of who I am, to ask myself that question: who am I as a spiritual being that I am? Because anything external, anything that is based on the physical is temporary, like I was saying before. But anything that is based on the soul, on the spiritual, in the spiritual sense, is eternal. And so when I reflect on who I am, and I can ask myself this question over and over: who am I? Who am I as a spiritual being that I am? In Brahma Kumaris, we like to think and we believe that we're souls, and that the soul is a being of light, energy, conscious being, and that we're eternal. We never die. The soul never dies. The soul just moves from one body, and when one body is finished, it just goes to the next body and plays its roles in that next body. And once that lifespan is finished, then it goes into another body. So it's the eternity of the soul throughout time. And so the more I can reflect on this, the more I can reflect on my eternity, the more I can reflect on my qualities, the more I can reflect on those qualities that I want to practice more in my life, the more I can reflect on God. And what is my relationship with God? What is my experience of God, the Supreme Soul, whatever you want to call this being? So what is my relationship with this being? How can I improve my relationship with God, with the Supreme Soul? How can I strengthen my relationship with the Supreme Soul? And what is my experience of God? What is my experience of this being that in Brahma Kumaris we like to call him the ocean of peace, the ocean of love, the ocean of compassion, mercy, the one who wants my happiness, who wants me to be happy, who wants to see me happy, and who wants to help me to be happy again. The one who teaches me, the supreme teacher, so I can go to him And I will use the term him, but in Brahma Kumaris we understand that as souls that we are, the Supreme Soul has, again, no gender. So using the term him is just a matter of speech. But so again, I can go to the Supreme Soul, to my Supreme Father, Mother, friend, companion, teacher, advisor, guide, whatever relationship I want to have, I can go to him for everything, to open my heart to him, to tell him what is in my mind, what is in my heart, whatever fears I may have, whatever questions I may have, whatever is in my heart, and I can go to him. And as my friend, as my companion, as my guide, as my teacher, the moment I open my heart to him, the moment I'm inviting him into my life, he's just waiting for me to give him that invitation. The moment I give him that invitation, he's right there for me. In Brahma Kumaris, in our teachings of Brahma Kumaris, we say that when we take one step of courage, God takes 1,000 steps for us to help us. And when we have, and that God loves a child with an honest heart. So all he wants from us is our honest heart. All he wants from us is for us to invite him to be part of our life. And so again, in these challenging times that we live in, we can either get absorbed by the externals, get totally absorbed by the news, the fear, again, all the sadness out there that is very real. Or we can be aware of that. I do choose to be aware of it, but I choose to not be absorbed by it or manipulated in a way by it. But I choose to be like an instrument of God, to serve humanity as his instrument. And how do I do that? By being aware of what's happening in the world, by being aware of all the sorrow. I choose to, again, be like an instrument of connecting with God, with the Supreme, in visualizing the Supreme Soul's rays of love and rays of peace, and experiencing the Supreme Soul's rays of love and peace and strength, and visualizing those rays of love and peace and strength of God covering the whole world, covering his children around the world, all his children, all humanity, embracing them, taking care of them. But the Supreme Soul is doing that. But I like to do this exercise of just visualizing God's rays of love and peace and strength covering the whole world, like a white light of love, peace, and strength from God, covering the whole world, embracing his children. And so it's a way that we can help very much our world. And we may think that our thoughts are very, very little. But I can use my thoughts to create fear and strengthen fear and strengthen negativity, or I can use my thoughts to help my world, help this world, help myself, remain stable, remain peaceful, remain calm, but at the same time, share that with the world. And so let's do a meditation. Let's pause and let's have a moment of silence. And as I sit in this moment of silence, I reflect on how I want to live my day, one day at a time. But I reflect on how I want to spend my day, how I want to use my thoughts during the day. I reflect on what qualities that are very natural in me, that give me lots of happiness when I use them. I reflect on those qualities and how I can use them even more. And then I now reflect on those personality traits that take away my happiness. And at the same time, I know they don't add to improve the quality of the energy I want to. They don't add to the quality of the type of vibrations I want to give to our world, my world, humanity, nature. So I reflect on those personality traits that I would like to change because they take away my happiness, and at the same time, it's not the vibration I want to give to the world, to my world. And as I become more aware of myself, of my inner world, now I take a moment to open my heart to the Supreme Soul. To open my heart to this ocean of love and compassion, to the Supreme Soul that wants to be my friend, that wants to teach me how to be happy and how to be my highest self again, that wants to teach me about all the spiritual laws of the universe that I have forgotten. So I open my heart to the Supreme Soul. And take a moment to share with my Supreme Parent, friend, what is in my heart, any fears I may have, any questions I may have, any spiritual goals that I may have, anything that is in my heart and in my mind. And I realized that I can do this exercise anytime. I can do this exercise in the morning, in the evening, whenever I pause during the day to connect with my inner self, to reflect on my inner self, and to connect with the Supreme Soul. I can do this exercise. Actually, as we have a lot more time in our hands in a way by following the recommendations of staying home, if we are doing that, or at least slowing down with all our activities and having more time in our hands in a way, it's very, very nice to have like a spiritual agenda, like a spiritual routine, like a spiritual timetable. Instead of using this time just to wasting time, into passing time, into killing time, like they say. Like I was saying before, it's a very precious time to grow spiritually, to strengthen that relationship, my relationship with God, the Supreme, to get to know myself more. So it's very, very nice also to include meditation more in our life, in our day, in our timetable. And to spend our day, to spend my day, that's what I'm doing, to spend my day increasing my time of meditation. And meditation for us in Brahma Kumaris is just simply remembering who I am as a spiritual being and reflecting on myself as a soul, the eternal conscious being of light that I am, with all these eternal qualities, virtues that are within me for eternity. They just become used or merged or emerged. And a lot of them are merged right now, waiting to be emerged by myself. And also meditation. So for us, meditation in Brahma Kumaris is just reflecting on who I am as a spiritual being that I am, as I was saying. To start to learn to become more aware of my thoughts, how I use my thoughts, and to start transforming my unnecessary weak thoughts into spiritual, elevated type of way of thinking that is more strengthening, empowering, and beneficial to the self and to the world, because thoughts create vibrations. But also meditation for us in Brahma Kumaris is that sweet conversation with God, that heart-to-heart conversation with God. And so the more I start including that in my daily timetable, in my daily agenda or timetable activities, and I can even add some timing for that. As I wake up, I can wake up a little earlier if I want to. What about 4 o'clock in the morning? Brahma Kumaris, we like to meditate from 4 to 4:45. It's a very sweet time because the world is very quiet at that time, quieter than usual, and there's more stillness. So it's a nice time to connect with the Supreme Soul, to have a sweet heart-to-heart conversation with God. And so again, I can include, like I was saying, time, waking up earlier so that I can have time, I can create time to spend in my meditation, in my sweet conversation with God, in my reflection on myself as the soul that I am. And then during the day, we have something that is called traffic control, as we have the traffic lights on the road to organize the traffic, the cars on the road. So traffic control is, in a spiritual sense, in the practice of Brahma Kumaris, is to kind of organize our thoughts. Every so often we can stop for a moment or so, and we can just connect with who we are, connect with the Supreme, and remember who we are, remember who I am, remember my Supreme friend, my best friend, and then pause for a moment, connect with myself again as the spiritual being that I am, and then I can go on with the rest of the hour or so, or 2 hours next. And by doing that, I'm including meditation during the day. I'm including reflection, or as I'm doing everything, like I was saying at the beginning, as I'm doing anything, as I'm cleaning, as I'm cooking, as I'm doing any type of chores, I can be doing it with this awareness. What people talk in the world about mindful meditation, it's more like that. It's just being aware, being more present, but not present in a physical way, in the sense of focusing my mind in physical things, external things, but not so, but present, aware, mindful, but of going within and going in this connection with God at the same time. And so the more I spend my day like that, start including more meditation, moments of reflection, as I'm doing anything, doing it with that consciousness more and more, I start creating a habit. And then in the evening, before going to bed, it's a nice time to kind of calm down, just relax, sit down for a while. In Brahma Kumaris, we like to meditate from 7 to 7:30 and kind of reflect on my day, evaluate my day, see what things I could have done different, what some of my personality traits of that I use that I would like to change, of how I faced situations or handle some situations, or how I'm feeling that, I mean, recognizing when I use my qualities that I would like to use them even more, and talk to the Supreme Soul about my day, and also at the same time reflect on aspects of my spiritual journey, spiritual growing, spiritual learning that I want to strengthen. And just also just have a sweet heart to heart experience with God. Could be a conversation, could be just silence and just experiencing God's love, God's peace, God's company. And then also at night, before falling asleep, it's nice to spend a little time studying, reflecting on again on this my spiritual journey. And by doing that, the more I start in my day incorporating like spiritual timetable, spiritual practice, then it's very beautiful to see how much I start. It has been my personal experience, how much I start growing and how much I start awakening spiritually, how much my relationship with the Supreme Soul starts becoming very close, very intimate, very personal, very real, and how much I start easy in an easier way, being able to connect to just experience who I am, and at the same time experience God's company, God's love, God's presence. And so it's like I was saying before, like in Brahma Kumaris we say, we take one step of courage, and God takes 1,000 for us to help us in our spiritual journey, to help us in whatever we tell Him with an open heart, with an honest heart about what we want to attain in our spiritual life, what we want to change, what we want to strengthen. And so again, I encourage you to use this time in these challenging times that can be very fearful if that's the way we choose to face them, or that can be again very delicate times. But at the same time, as long as we follow, like I was saying before, as long as we follow the advice of the medical professions, the advice of the government, and as long as we take care of ourselves physically that way, then we can also spend the day taking care of ourselves, our inner self. And the more I take time to take care of my inner self during the day, the more I'm helping the world by sending those vibrations, by sending that energy, the more I'm helping the world also give like the donation of peace, give the donation of strength. Not myself, more like I was saying before, I connect with God, I remember God, I experience His peace, I experience His strength, I experience His love. And it's like I visualize those rays of love and peace and strength from the Supreme Soul, from our Supreme Friend, the ocean of love and compassion. All those rays covering the world, engulfing the world, our family, our world family. When I say our family, I feel as my family, the world family, not just my physical blood related family, but the whole world. That's my spiritual family. And so let's just for a moment now, let's take a moment to go into silence again and feel grateful, feel very grateful to have this opportunity to reflect on who we are as the spiritual beings that we are. So as I reflect on who I am as a child of God, an eternal being of light that never dies. The body is perishable, but the soul, the being who is who I am, is eternal, lives forever. Just takes one body, and after that body finishes, it just goes into the next body. It's the eternity of the soul throughout time. And so to realize that I'm never alone, that God is always with me. That He wants to be part of my life, that He wants to be invited by me, to be my companion, to be my friend. So I take a moment to reflect on my relationship with God, on this being that knows me for eternity, on this being who wants to be my companion, my teacher, my guide, but just waits for my invitation. And I reflect that the more I start mindfully, consciously thinking of God and developing a relationship with God, the more I do that, the more this relationship will start becoming closer and closer to my heart, more natural, more intimate, more personal, more real, because it will become an experience. God will not be just a word or a being that is taught by some groups, but it will become an experience. So it will be an experience that will strengthen my faith in God, that will strengthen my trust in God, that will strengthen my belief that yes, the Supreme Soul is there for me. So Om Shanti, and I welcome you to continue listening to these presentations that we have, these short talks that we have from the Miami Brahma Kumaris Center, and you can also join our mailing list to find out what is being offered every week. And you just have to go to miamibrahmakumaris.org, and you can sign up for the events calendar. And also, if you go to the brahmakumaris.org website, there's a lot of resources there that you can benefit from. So best wishes, take good care of yourself, and stay healthy and well, and take care of your inner world. Om Shanti.